Everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Viet Le from Wutan, Seattle. Today I have the honor of interviewing this channel's host, Shifu Jorge Rubio Perez. He is originally from Venezuela, but currently residing in Massachusetts. He is a student of Master Yunys Zapata and is a grand student of Master Tai She Che. I had a great time interviewing him. We're going to break down this interview into three parts. If you want to know more about Shifu Perez, stay with me and let's get to it. We talked about, not feeling like we have enough time to train because we have families, we have our jobs, and all of those pressures of daily life. And so my question to you, and this is a personal one, is why do you train now? Why do you still make the time to train?
Yeah, it's a good question right now. Well, for the past couple months, because I've been transitioning for what I used to train to what I want to train the rest of my life.
Mhm.
Okay. So what I've been doing my entire career, I would say, is training for competition.
Mhm.
Repeating, train myself in the gym, doing some other track field work, for example, running, swimming, improving my conditions, my physical conditions, in order to perform better
Mhm.
when I compete. That's what I've been doing my entire life. Now, you get to the point when you have all these responsibilities and you need to stop competing. That's what I had to do. I had to make my decision as far as, okay, it's been a great career as an athlete, but
Mhm.
now this will need to stop because I have other priorities, right?
Sure.
So that's what I was doing. That's what I was training for, just competition, right? Improving, practicing, training, getting a get better physical conditions, and compete all over the world, basically. Now, what I'm doing now is different because I got to the point where I stopped competing, but I needed something to substitute that feeling, that sensation of, okay, I'm doing this because I have this goal. I want to get a medal in certain competition or whatever. But now I don't have those goals anymore. And I'm one of those guys that need kind of motivation, right?
Sure.
And I started looking for, and I think we talked about it out of the line at some point month ago. So transitioning into learning more about all the kung fu that I do, all the styles, where are they coming from? Why the styles are somehow different than the way I was performing them? Because there's always a reason, right?
Sure.
And then a couple people have asked me, like, if you get into a fight um, on the street, would you use kung fu or would you use like, uh, yeah, regular sparring, Sanda, punches, kicks, takedowns, whatever, right? And I said, I will use more sparring style, uh, punches, kicks, takedowns, because that's what I feel more comfortable doing. Uh, can I apply kung fu and six harmonies, for example, in a fight, and do an application? Yeah, sure I can. But I feel more comfortable just blocking a punch and then punching or kicking or taking the guy down, right? Um, so right now I'm in that transition between competing and looking for that knowledge, right? Because I feel I knew nothing about all this. And it's been quite I've been reading a couple of books. I've been learning from my interviews with other people like you, Viet, um, Paolo, uh, Shizu, Vincent May, uh, Shizu, Yuri Jimenez, right? Your Shifu as well. Um, I've been learning a lot, and I'm in that, and that's what I'm training for right now. Like I'll answer the question, why do you train? Well, I want to keep learning what I do. I don't want to forget anything. So, but I want to, like, the type of training that I do now is different because I don't have to show up in any competition and in front of judges. And no, it's different. It's okay, now I need to take my kung fu to the very next level and perform the kung fu that I learned closer to what it should be.
Source.
Like exactly. So now, like if you see my videos of six harmonies that I've been posting, I want it to look more like six harmonies.
Mm.
And that's a different process because I was so used to do it in a different way, and now I have to transition to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to keep doing videos and stuff so I don't forget all the forms that I know, and also doing applications of those moves so I don't forget that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even you don't even have to forget anything because the application just flow, right? Because you've been doing that form for so many times,
Mm-hmm.
and so many years that you think about the application, it just comes to your mind of how you apply a different move. So, but I've been trying to do that as well, right? Now I'm teaching my daughter, and
Oh,
she likes competition. It turns out that she likes them. And not only that, but we went to this last competition in Baltimore for the Wushu of the Wushu Federation, right? They did this competition, and she saw the female adults sparring on the lei tai,
Mm-hmm.
and she was just impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Now she wants to learn how to do sparring. So
Mm-hmm.
we started that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that she made by herself that decision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to learn how to spar,
Mm-hmm.
and
That
I'll
must be
be
pretty.
happy to teach her.
That
How
must
is
be
that?
pretty moving. That must be pretty moving, right?
Yeah,
Because she found
it's
it her own way. But Daddy didn't force her.
yeah,
So
and not only that, but not everybody likes to do
sure,
sparring.
sure.
Okay, so if that's a decision that comes from you, uh, when I didn't force you, that's great. I'll
Mm-hmm.
take it. I'll teach you everything I know. So we started that training as well. So and now it's a mix as
Mm-hmm.
far as why do I train now. Of course, I want to be healthy. That's
Mm-hmm.
one of the reasons that why uh, practice as well, or one of the reasons why I practice, I would say. But then it's finding that meaning right now. Okay, I want to be able to perform everything I know per the book, uh, and then trying to improve it as much as I can. And now it comes to those different levels in Kung Fu, right? I don't remember the name, and I won't get into the details, but um, getting to that next level, yeah, it's trying to make sense of everything, every move, every, and I don't have 3 hours to train.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have to, okay, today I'm gonna train these three forms and think about maybe some applications of it. I do applications with my nephew. He's helping me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I need somebody to do this applications, right? And but I still, try to use a punching bag and keep myself, ready, because you never know when you need to defend yourself. So, but yeah, that's why I train.
You know, a lot of people when they quit martial arts, they say, "Look, why am I training for a fight that I'll probably never have?" Right?
Yeah,
People assume that in today's society, the likelihood of us getting into fights and really, punching and kicking and throwing each other like we do in class is actually going to happen. Um, and it's a good question. Why do we train for a fight that we likely will never engage in, right? But I'm glad that you found other reasons for you to still be part of the Kung Fu community. I think talking about Kung Fu in general and Wutan in particular, when you realize that, once if you made that decision to transition from competition to something else, for example, like what you're doing right now with giving back, not only to your daughter, but also to, practitioners across the world with these interviews,
yeah,
with sharing your videos, um, it does there is much more to kung fu than just competition, right? So it is nice that we have those opportunities to delve into things like history and culture that really don't get talked about enough,
yeah,
right?
true. Especially all
I
this
just wanted,
knowledge, because
right?
it's not easy to find it in books,
No.
in English books, right? There's a
Well,
lot of
you have a
information in Chinese, but
you have a pretty interesting advantage too, because there's been a lot of sources that have been written in Spanish, right, about
yeah,
Wutan, and we English speakers don't have access to that, right? So hopefully we can maybe in the future get some kind of archive going on with Chinese,
yeah,
English, and Spanish speaking
yeah.
resources, right? Um, but I had another question I wanted to ask you, and I know that you've asked this of um, many masters that you've interviewed so far, right? So, what is the meaning of Shifu to you? When does somebody able to call themselves a Shifu?
Yeah. So I pretty much relate that questions to that particular question to what I see in my Shifu.
Hmm.
And what I see in my Shifu, it's a very family oriented person. He's been married to his wife. He treat her like a queen. And that's what I grew up watching my entire life. Okay. Uh, that's one of the most impressive things that I see from him as a shifu, as a master. Okay, remember when you call somebody a shifu, it's I think Shizu Vincent described it in our last interview, but that person becomes more than your father in martial arts. Okay, it's a very strong relation,
Hmm.
and if that person will become your father, he should be acting like a father.
Hmm.
Okay. So, and that's why I mentioned this, and that's the first thing that I bring up is he's a very family oriented person. He's very respectful. He he was a great, well, he still is a great practitioner. Like I see him. So that's why I wouldn't call myself a master or a shifu until I feel I'm close to that level.
Hmm.
And that's why different people will have different opinions about it, because they will have different masters and they will have different experiences, right? But the one that I have is just look at my master, and then when I see another person saying, oh, I'm master whatever, the first thing that I automatically do is grab that guy, that person, put it next to my shifu, and
Okay.
compare, unfortunately,
Hmm.
right? But that's the
Hmm.
only thing that I have, because that's the only shifu I have. Okay.
Hmm.
So what's a master to me? Well, a master has a combination of you know, uh, values as a
Hmm.
person. Okay, obviously knowledge in the kung fu. Um, he, like I said, values, but as a family member, right? As a husband or as a father as well. So those combinations for me makes a person or help a person become a master. Uh,
I think the highest compliment that you can get from someone is when they ask if they can call you a shifu, right?
yeah,
Because they feel that you have those characteristics. Sometimes we're not aware.
yeah,
Uh, we don't know what we've done to deserve that kind of respect from others. But when people
yeah,
ask you, well, how can I call you, right? And simply calling you by your first name doesn't seem appropriate for all the dedication that you put towards this art, right? Can I call you
yeah,
Shifu? And then you make that choice of whether you want to accept that title or not, right?
yeah, definitely.
I remember during a competition, like during a seminar once, I was helping my teacher teach at a seminar, and there were people coming up to me and saying, Shifu Viet, Shifu Viet. And I was a little nervous because my teacher is right there, and I never got a title, I never got a belt, I never got anything. And I went up to my Shifu and was like, uh, people are calling me Shifu. Is that okay? He's like, you're Shifu today. That's fine. He just waved his hand like this.
Today,
You know, so, Sifu Jorge, you have done quite a number of competitions over your career. So, can you talk about what you feel is the value of competition? Maybe some highlights from your experiences?
yeah, definitely. So first, best thing that could ever happen to me is competitions. And the reason why I'm in US right now is because of competitions.
Mhm.
Okay. The reason why I got a scholarship in Venezuela is because I was an athlete and competing in Kung Fu. So benefits, I can talk all day long about benefits for competition. And I've said this before, but competitions are good so you can trace a goal, okay? A short term or a mid-term goal as far as a competition that you want to attend, and you can focus your training and all your efforts to meet that goal, okay? And that's how life works, okay? It's something that you can extrapolate 100% to your life. It's a mindset being a competitor, because at the end of the day, in a professional environment, it's competition. Okay. There are guys smarter than you, okay, better than you in many fields, and you need to compete with them in order to get or to meet your goal, which is ultimately get a position in a company or whatever you want to do, or start your own company as well, right? If you start your own company, it's same thing. You need to extrapolate because you want to have goals and you want to meet those goals and you want to have short-term goals, mid-term goals, and all that. So for me, benefits are infinite, endless. Um, then as far, but you cannot compete your entire life. That's a thing that, I mean, there's certain, you gotta, you know, stop and say, okay, can I do this for the next, I don't know, couple of years, or should I stop here? That's the other thing. Now, as far as, like I said previously, I've been competing pretty much my entire life since 1990, 1992 when I started competing. Um, the top competitions that I've been are the World Kung Fu Championships that China, mainland China organizes. I've been in five of them, four representing Venezuela and one of them representing US. Once that I
Mhm.
moved to US, I pretty much lost my spot in the national team in Venezuela, and I had to qualify in US to be able to go to that championship. The last one I went was in 2017. Just a summary, I've won 12 medals in those world championships, 3 gold medals, 5 silver medals, and 4 bronze medals, I think. It's a great experience. You get to meet a lot of people from all over the world. You get to see different um, cultures, interact with different cultures, see how they perform praying mantis in, I don't know, Italy, for example, how
Mhm.
they do praying mantis in Hong Kong, Taiwan, right? Well, we know Taiwan, but it's something that you can see in those world championships. The first one that I won in 2006, there were 72 countries in that
Wow.
competition. So it's a serious event. I was competing against, remember in 2008 in um, the staff division, we were more close to 30 people. I was first. That
Mm.
uh, I mean, I worked really hard in order to be there. Um, there was a lot of really good guys performing, and get the chance to get a medal in that type of competition. It's great. That feeling, it's awesome. I would recommend that to everyone doing martial arts. And your Sifu, Jason So, um, he he was in favor of sparring and getting
Mm.
into a lei tai and get that feeling as well. So
And you said at
some
least once in your life, at least once in your
at
life, everybody
least once in
should do
your
should do
life, and I loved that from him.
it. Mm.
Um, and from 100 guys that do kung fu in our lineage and in our environment, I don't know, probably less than 10 has been in a lei tai fighting.
Mm.
It's a low percentage, but
Mm.
especially for new generation, I would say. But look at your Shifu, Jason So, saying, "Hey, you at least once you gotta go there and you know do it." I love that. But anyway,
I think everybody needs to get punched and beat up at least once in their life.
yeah,
Because it really wakes you up to whether your kung fu is practical or not, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Um, I personally I did do some other arts like boxing and Muay Thai,
Hmm.
and I got my butt kicked that way. But that was a wake up call for me.
Yeah,
So everybody needs to get a wake up call when they're training in martial arts. Because otherwise, I think a lot of us in Bhutan, how we say we're so good at our kung fu is like, look, Liu Yun never knew what it was like to strike someone twice. So that's why if I punched you with baji, you would bleed from every orifice. You wouldn't even be
yeah,
standing up. And someone might say, well, prove it to me, right? So I think that certainly being in competition gives us a dose of what real life is like,
yeah,
right?
definitely.
Um, my last question, just to round off this interview, and thank you so much for your thoughtful answers to these questions. Also, you get a taste of your own medicine with some of these questions and how difficult it is to answer them.
I had to
But it's
take a
been a
couple
great time.
notes. You're right.
It's been a great time. So I wanted to end with asking you about the name of this channel, Wutan Shaolin Kung Fu. Why did you choose that name? What are your goals for the channel?
Yeah,
What are your personal goals, maybe, for this upcoming year? For this, you know, what would you like to do
yeah. So
in the future?
Wutan Shaolin Kung Fu, it's for now it's just a YouTube channel. We'll have the YouTube account, the Instagram and Facebook, and the goal is to preserve and promote Chinese martial arts, specifically uh, coming from our lineage, from the Wutan
Hmm.
lineage. And Shaolin Kung Fu is, like I said at the beginning, that's the name of the school that Grandmaster Tai and Grandmaster Su and Grandmaster Fusunan um, pretty much started working on in Venezuela, right, in teaching. It's Shaolin Kung Fu, La Danza del Dragón. So that's why I grabbed that name there. I don't do uh, Shaolin. I know some forms of Long Fest, or I heard the name also Shaolin Chamchang.
Mhm,
But that's it. But
mhm,
that's why it's a name. And ultimately my goal is to keep spreading knowledge about the uh, our lineage, kung fu or different styles. Um, get to interview masters from the U generation at some point. I'm grateful for your Sifu, Jason So, that gave me the opportunity to interact with him. Technically, he's from the Tán generation, but he had the opportunity to learn and train with Grandmaster Liu Yun Chiao. So I'm working on it. And but that's ultimately my goal.
good.
Just keep
And
spreading our love.
where do you see yourself in a year? Any in like immediate goals that you're looking for? Because I know that you're right now in the Baji Shu program with Shifu Vincent May.
Yes.
Um,
So I've been learning a lot of, like I said, basic drills from Pachi that have helped me even with praying mantis.
mhm,
So I want to finish the program and see what else I can do. I try to even go at least once every other month to New York and train with his students as well,
mhm,
trying to improve. And he's great. The way he does this in his platform, he takes screenshots of the homework that you submit every week, and he starts drawing lines and saying, "Hey, this arm should be here," and it's a graphic kind of learning experience that's been helping me quite a lot, especially for Pachi.
mhm.
Um, and then as far as the channel, I mean, uh, trying, like I said, trying to interview masters from the U generation before uh, they leave us. It's a
Mhm.
sad truth, but
Sure.
it's coming, okay? Because they are all getting to 80s, uh, late 70s, and I feel like that once that they are gone, we're gonna miss them because they are the ones that have that all that knowledge, all that it's background from all these styles that at some point who knows if they are gonna be lost. We didn't talk about it, but it's tough.
I think at the same time, I think it also we need to, as a younger generation, we need to step up, right? We can't always be, we will not be in their shadows forever.
Yeah,
Eventually they will leave us, and we will need people who have that knowledge, right? Who are willing to teach, right? I went to a banquet recently, and there were a lot of older kung fu teachers at this banquet. And while it was nice to hear about their legacy, a lot of them had already stopped teaching. But I made a remark to my Shifu how I noticed that there weren't any new Shifus there, right? That all we did were we talked about old times and older teachers. And Kung Fu is not going to grow if people don't step up, right? And so these kind of efforts, what with fellowship, what with interviews, what with trying to teach, I think is important. I have a couple of friends who insist that, you know what, I just want to practice. I don't really want to teach. But I really encourage all of
yeah,
my Wutan brothers and sisters, my cousins, anybody who's doing Kung Fu, if we want to keep this going. And mind you, uh, compared to other styles like BJJ and Taekwondo, those guys are growing, right? We've been dying for a long time, and if we want to just survive, keep this going, then I encourage us that we all step up to the plate and we teach, right? So I'm just wondering, if someone wanted to contact you and was interested in learning six Hari mantis or all of your experiences. Well, maybe they just want to come to you for learning how to spar in competition. Is there a way to reach out to you? Right?
Yeah, I'll give you my contact information. I've been very busy with my job right
Sure,
now. So
sure.
potentially I'll try to find that balance with my job and family. And I'll love to at some point next year start. Okay. Because if you think about it, if I want to teach, I will need time. I will need a place. I will need, dedicate a couple hours a week to do this. And it's within my goals. I want to do it. Okay. That's good, right? That's the first step.
Well,
And now
no
I need
pressure no pressure since we have this on video, right? So we can
yeah,
always have an interview a
no
year from now
pressure.
and
No
say,
pressure.
Jorge, did you do what you said you were going to do?
Did you watch a video? Was the next day, right? The next year, sorry. So yeah, definitely I'll give you my contact and we can go from there. But I'm thinking potentially for next year. I can once that find this. I'm traveling too much yet. I it's tough when you travel because if I travel and if I have a school or a class, then I'll have to say to my students, hey, I'm traveling this week. I won't. I have to skip the class. And I don't want to do that. But let's see. I think I can find a way for next year.
Maybe just once a week, or if someone can reach out
Yeah,
and maybe ask for private lessons. And of course, it will be based on your time because you're so busy.
yeah, absolutely.
But I really encourage you to share as much as you have been. And I think that when people watch your videos of you doing forms, we're all full of compliments, right?
Yeah,
Um, Forms are incredibly sharp. You know what you're doing. We see the applications, and I think a lot of people will love to reach out to you and be able to learn from you. So I want to put it out there for anybody who's interested, right?
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. I want to take the opportunity to thank you for taking the time as well. For everybody that is watching this, but Viet is a doctor. I'm sure he's very busy. And he's actually taking the time to, sit down here a couple hours with me and just talk, right? And I really appreciate that. Um, it's fun to be, like I said at the beginning, in this side of the fence and get asked the questions that I ask all the time to different
Yes, sir.
shifus and
It's fácil.
that's all right. It's fun. But yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. It was very fun. Thank you for letting me share my thoughts, my stories, my comments. Talk about a little bit of the history in Venezuela, how everything started, right? And how we've been spreading around the world and what I'm doing right now, what I used to do. I love this and I think one of the reasons I created this channel is to be able to keep spreading the love I have for the Chinese martial art that I learned, and try to share that with other people. Maybe other people see it and say, "Hey, I want to learn that. That sounds really oh." In those forms, you can actually apply those moves and take a guy down. That guy is 230 pounds. You can take him down. Yes, I can take him down. I can take down a 300-pound guy as well with kung fu. I mean, we all can do these things. It's just a matter of practice them and perform. But thank you very much, Viet. I really appreciate it, and I had a lot of fun with this interview.
That concludes part three of the interview with Shifu Perez. I hope you enjoyed getting to know the host better. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up.